Well, hi, my name is Jim Kitzmiller. I am an intuitive systems engineer. So what that means in my case is I have spent decades doing spiritual studies, spiritual progress, self-help studies, self-help progress, and activities, and I've also spent decades as a systems engineer. And I've gotten to the point where I can combine reason and intuition, and I've worked on a very large number of projects, personal or for corporations or whatever. And I've come across, after sifting out a lot of information, what is the most powerful productivity tool ever. Like, there's gazillions of productivity tools, and we think of computers or tablet computers or all kinds of stuff. And usually it costs a gazillion dollars. But there's one tool that I mentioned in a video I created a couple of years ago, and I'd like to have that as the main feature of this particular video. This is what I found to be the most powerful productivity tool ever. I have one right here. I'm going to show it to you. Here it is, the wastebasket. And you probably have at least one around where you are too. And I know myself, I tend to like to start projects. I really get involved in the wondrous creativity of it all and just have a blast doing it. It is so much fun. And then I may or may not finish the project right away, and I start another one and another one. And I wound up with piles of paper. I've done this repeatedly. I've wound up with stacks of paper, and I couldn't find anything in partially complete projects. And so the wastebasket really comes to play here. I know for me it's sometimes hard to let go of stuff, but when I get to the point where I just can't find something that's vitally important to find, I'll just stop everything and just go through stuff, either file it or do it right away if it takes less than 2 minutes to do it, or just throw it away. And then I get to where I can find things, and I usually keep organizing a bit more. But this also applies to entire projects. Like I mentioned, these projects that I started and did not finish, or sometimes I started the project and finished them. Like, I've come up with brilliant working software systems, but I could not make any money with them. I tried to sell it after it was all done. Like, I just love to create. I think a lot of us are that way. We just love to create, and we don't know if we're going to get paid for it or not, but we figure if we create it, then people will buy it, and so forth. And kind of a cousin to the wastebasket is the decision to not even start certain projects in the first place, and or at least to just do a little bit of a test to see if we're going to get the desired results. You've seen that in television series. Just about every television series I've seen, they start out with a pilot, which means it's a test version, a test episode. So the people creating the television show will create a pilot, and then they're not betting the farm on that. They're just betting a little bit on it to see if it's going to pay off. And then after the pilot is done, they might show it to some test audiences and see how they like it themselves, and then decide whether or not to proceed. If the pilot looks like it's promising and there's going to be a lot of people continuing to watch the show, then the show will go into full production. And there are some shows that only last a half a season or more of a or a full season, but they don't get renewed for the next season. So that's the television network's version of this. It's the wastebasket. They decide that that show is not attracting the kind of audience that they want. So unlike what I have a tendency to do, I tend to be just a guy who keeps going and going and going, thing like doggedly persistent. So the television network will just cancel the series. And you may have had TV shows that you like were canceled, and I know I have, and it turns out that not enough other people liked the TV series that I liked, so it got canceled. So the idea is to know what to not do, and I think that's a key thing in business also. It's good to know what to do, but it's even more important to know what to not do, because there's just this vast sea of infinite things that we could do that seem like they might improve the business. And you can buy programs, endless programs that tell you about how to do your business through the internet for $97 or $197 or $9.97, whatever. And they may work, they may not. So it can be good to kind of really carefully study what you're going to do and do a very limited number, if any, of these programs, and just save yourself money and effort. I know that I've just gone down so many paths that did not pay off. And I found this in the self-help industry. I've studied over 50 different self-help systems myself, and most of them have been good. However, a few of them have been very good. And what I've done on my blog is to try to bring you processes and procedures that are extremely helpful, low cost, and rapid results, rapid benefits. And in these different self-help pursuits, somebody can spend decades on some kind of self-help system that doesn't really do them all that much good, where if they did something a little different, or maybe a lot different, they could have tremendous benefits from these self-help systems. So if you look at my blog, jimkitzmiller.net, you'll see a lot of information on that kind of thing. But the bottom line here, it's kind of like that song about the gambler. You've probably heard that. You got to know when to hold 'em and got to know when to fold 'em. The only problem is that the song doesn't say when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. Like, how do you know? Well, nowadays on the internet, for a lot of products, you can get different kinds of ratings. Like, you go to Amazon.com, you get ratings of different things. If it's some new system that's coming out, well, you don't know. On somebody's website, they're likely to only show you the positive rave reviews of people who have been successful with whatever it is they're offering. But basically, the idea is that we can get rid of stuff that's time wasters. We can just not start it in the first place, or if we find it's not working, we can let go of it. Now, there's a precaution here. Some stuff appears to be not working. I know in a lot of self-help systems, we start doing something and we actually feel worse. And that's just because when we start doing the process or the system, whatever it is, we start bringing up resistances. But if we keep working at it, if we keep persisting at it, then the resistances and discomforts will blow off, and then we're really cruising. So I'd suggest we give everything a fair try, or at least some due diligence in deciding what and what not to do. And if we get something that looks like it's good, it's promising, then I would suggest, or at least give myself this advice, to stick with that and maybe 1, 2, or 3 things. And stick with those and not get enamored by the glamour of all the other things that are out there. Because at least I have to give the things I've chosen a try, do that pilot project with the things I've chosen and see if they work. So, anywho, I hope this is helpful, and I'd really appreciate it if you stop by my blog, jimkitzmiller.net, and leave me a message or send me an email. You'll find the contact information on my blog. So, thank you so much for watching, and there will be more videos coming.